Hey, this is Randy from BibleBuyingGuide.com. Today I'm taking a look at the ESV Heirloom Single Column Personal Size Bible from Crossway. This one is made in China, and it comes in a nice little wrapping velvet. This one is dark blue goatskin. The dark blue goatskin almost looks black. It does have a little bit of a grain to it. It looks nice. I like the look and feel of it. Perimeter stitched. It's a little thin. The liner, I think, is leather, but it is a little bit thin, and it does have the gilt line edge lining. The outside, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 spine ribs with our text stamped in gold, and then the 2 ribbons. Now, this is an heirloom edition, but it doesn't feel like an heirloom edition to me. That is all of the premium quality material. The rest is, well, I like the design. I love the design, love the size, but the paper doesn't feel like premium paper. It has a blue tint, which if you follow my website, you know that I don't like blue tint paper. It is Smythe sewn. The paper is probably 30-ish GSM. I don't know for sure, but it is thin. I'm okay with thin paper as long as it's easy to turn, opaque, and has the right color. This is none of those. Made in China, like I said before. I don't know if you can see the pickup on the blue tint there, but we'll do some comparisons and you'll see what I mean. The opacity is a little bit on the low side, so that when you see the line match text, meaning that the text is printed on the same place in the paper, on the page on both sides, you'll see a little bit of gray behind it. Now, as far as the design, I love the design. Single column paragraph, 9-point font, with lots of spacing between the lines. And then we have our footnotes in the bottom, in the footer. Across the top, we have the book name and chapter and verse number in the outside, and then page number on the inside. Size of this thing is excellent. I would carry this Bible if it had better paper. But blue tint kind of kills it for me. And you can see the show through. I don't think of this as an heirloom Bible. I wish they would rebrand it, not call this heirloom. And this is not as good as paper as what's in the Legacy, also made in China. Nowhere near as good as that paper. Actually, I like the paper in some of the other, even the cheaper models, better than this one. But I'll show you what else we've got here. In the very back, we have maps. We have table of weights and measures. That's the standard maps that we get from Crossway. And that's the Bible. Let's take a look at our sizing. 5 1/4 overall size by 8 by 1 1/2. So this is a perfect size for carry. The large font, 9-point, is large enough for me to read. You know, if this had better paper, this would be the ESV I'd carry. I love that design. So let's weigh. £1 pound, 8.4 ounces. So yeah, that's an excellent size for carry and reading and holding. So let's do some comparisons. First is the single column thin line. It's a similar design. Slightly taller, slightly thinner. About the same size font, if not exactly the same size font. And you can probably tell the difference in the shade of blue here compared to the off-white here. I prefer this one. The opacity is about the same. So there's how they compare. I'd like to have even this paper in that one, even though, you know, it's not as opaque as I like, but I still prefer this to that one. Next is the single column Heritage. This is an older edition, no longer in print, with calfskin, and this also had a Chinese text, a Chinese block, but it had better paper. You can see, and they're not the same Bible, so we don't have the same pagination or anything like that. I'll show you. We'll go to Job 30. The paper's easy enough to turn, I guess. It can be a little bit tricky, but it's not too bad. So, I mean, you can see there we don't have the same pagination. They're not the same Bible. But like the other, I still prefer this paper to this paper. Here's how they compare. So since this is an heirloom and since it is a goatskin edition, let's compare it to a couple of other ESVs on the market. This is the Clarion in goatskin, and the Clarion is a little bit smaller, is a little bit shorter. Thickness is similar. Clarion is just a touch thicker, but not a lot. And they're both single column. The difference being that the Clarion is made in the Netherlands, and also it uses Indopaque paper, which is some of the best paper out there. It's thin, it's 28 GSM, but it's a coated paper, and it doesn't feel, this feels thicker than this, actually. I'm not sure if it actually is, but it feels thicker than that paper. This is the paper that I would have used. This is the paper that they used to use on the heirloom editions before they went to China. Here's how they compare. And of course, the main difference being in design being the Clarion is reference rather than just text. And let's compare to one more. This is in calfskin, but this is the personal size Quintel, and you can see the difference in size. A little bit shorter, slightly smaller, slightly thinner. And like the Clarion, it also uses the Indopaque paper. And of course, the main difference being that it is a double column. And there's how they compare. So that's a quick look at the ESV Heirloom single column personal size Bible. I love the size. I love the print. I like the cover. It's a little thin, but still it's a nice cover. I don't like the paper. I do not like this paper. If it had different paper, I could see me carrying this Bible as my daily carry ESV. Easy, no problem at all. I wouldn't have any problem at all using that as my carry Bible. With this paper, I'm not drawn to it. In fact, it kind of pushes me away. When I pick it up and I see this blue tint, I'm like, it makes me not want to look at it, not want to read it. I'll place some links in the notes so that you can see the full review on BibleBuyingGuide.com with more detail. And also, if you do want to make a purchase, I'll place some links down there. Crossway did provide this in exchange for an honest review. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.